Welcome, everybody. It is me. It is the Cyber Warrior. This is Cyber Warrior Studios. And as always, it's a Friday and we got security happy hour. So we got a big show planned. We got a lot of things coming on and we had some changes. So bear with us as we enjoy the party. But until we get into it, I'll be right back. And we're back. And hey, as always, I have the one, the only, the Cyber Papa. Joining me is my partner in crime, my friend, my brother. And I know we got a lot going on today, but Cyber Papa, how are we doing today?
We are doing wonderful. The week has ended. We had a little problem that I got to tell some of our friends as they come in, but Granny is not feeling good, so she's not going to be on the show today, but we're going to bring her back next week. So
Nice. So as you all know, earlier in the week, I had advertised McKenna as being on this show. Unfortunately, she is not able to make it, but that's okay. Because you know what? When one falls, we bring another one up, and we got the one and only Jon Good joining us today. So Jon Good. Jon, tell us how you're doing, brother.
I'm doing well. I think I'm like everybody and I'm just ready for the weekend.
I hear you, and it's going to be a long weekend too. So I put a few videos out about that. If you want to check them out, please go take a look at my Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. You'll find them all about this weekend and what you should and shouldn't do. But I do want to say this, Jon. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for kind of like jumping in short notice and being able to do this with us today. And it's all about personal branding today. And for me, my personal brand has always been to motivate, inspire, and teach and kind of bring along the community and lift them up with me. But when it comes to personal branding, what is the biggest thing for you that you think is important for those trying to break into cyber to know?
Yeah, so personal branding itself is a great way to really, stand out from the crowd and everybody else that's trying to get into these jobs. And, for me, it's really about trying to tell a story, right? So usually when I do like resume reviews or I talk to people just about kind of their career path and what they're trying to do, everything you do, you really want to kind of tell a story of what you're trying to do. So, I went for this certification because I want to go down this path and be in red team or blue team or whatever it is. So really just trying to make sure that everything that you do just tells a story about what you want your career to kind of be portrayed as.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a big part of that is, and we talk about it a lot when you talk about your brand and things like that, or just training in general. One of the big questions comes up is, what should I study? What should I know? What should I learn? I think it really depends because it's very difficult in this day and age to study blue team, right? It's very hard. Yes, there's organizations out there like Security Blue Team and some others that do blue team training, but the reality of it is most of your training is all offensive or managerial, I'll say, business oriented. So blue team, so your SOC analysts and your SIM engineers and your EDR specialists, unless you get a like a what am I thinking? Like a company based training where it's just for CrowdStrike or just for Logarithm, you don't really get anything that is, hey, this is really the concepts of the job. So for someone trying to build a brand, someone that maybe be trying to build a brand in blue team, what can they do to help build that brand as a blue teamer?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right with the whole training platforms and everything, and really, even with like the red team stuff. I mean, a lot of that stuff didn't even exist, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So even that stuff is pretty new. I think, one of the reasons why it's probably caught on so much is because just from a Hollywood standpoint, everybody sees the movies, they see the hackers, and it's just it's easier to kind of glorify that kind of position, I think. And I mean, as far as the blue team, and really for me, cybersecurity in general, what I typically tell people is, there's certain things that I think that everybody should really know, there's the foundational kind of stuff. You got to know how networks work. You got to know how operating systems work. And then once you kind of, you kind of get that stuff, then it's really starting to try to decide which way you want to go. So then if you want to go to blue team, start trying to figure out some of these tools that exist. So they could be commercial tools or open source or whatever, just like tools that are listed in job postings or that people use. And then if you can, obviously it's better to get the commercial tool because then you get to see some of the more, higher end features or better features. But then there's a lot of open source tools that are very similar. And with a lot of the tools in general, if you learn how, like a sim tool, for instance, if you learn how even an open source one works, you can take a lot of those skills to the commercial tool set and, not have paid anything or very little, right? If you spun it up in the cloud or whatever it is. But yeah, just really trying to find something that complements it that you can learn at home.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say this, there's a lot of open source capabilities. There's a lot of ways you can develop a sim or build up an entire platform like Security Onion and so many others that are out there. And, with this, when I look at branding, I look at what you want to do and who you want to be portrayed as. And so I've done videos on both sides of the fence, but that's because I work on both sides of the fence. I've always enjoyed both, being an analyst or an engineer and dealing in the vuln management side as much as breaking into computers and networks and things of that nature. Difference being, I'm about a mile wide and an inch deep. Whereas some people who only, they specialize in one field, they're an inch wide and a mile deep. So, it really depends on what you want to do. And which is why I've really geared myself to the consulting side of things, because I know a lot about a lot of, or I know a little bit about a lot of topics. Some things I've had to research and do more on. But that's how I've built myself. That's what people know, right? That they know what I'm here for and what I can bring to the table. And I learn along with them. So let's look at LinkedIn for an example. LinkedIn, you see some posts that are personal, some are political, some are, they run the spectrum of just about everything. It has, to an extent, turned in a little bit into a professional Facebook, so to speak.
Facebook 2.0.
So, right. So when you're looking at something like that, how would you recommend anybody trying to get into the cyber field, cybersecurity? How would you recommend they build their brand on LinkedIn? Should they comment? Should they make posts? Should they lurk? Like, what is your recommendation for how they build out their brand?
Yeah, so with LinkedIn, first of all, especially once you're starting to enter, the professional workforce, if you're just getting out of school or, whatever the case is, LinkedIn and Facebook are not the same. Keep them separate as far as what you post, please. But one of the things that people fall into a lot on LinkedIn, especially when they're first starting out, as far as like trying to build their brand and stuff, is they'll fall into kind of the loop of just liking posts. So somebody posts something, they like it, and then this is like pretty much all they've done. And I've had people that have done that and asked, well, why is that not really like growing my LinkedIn? Well, it's because you're not really contributing. So even if you just kind of want to start out at first by, maybe I like this post and maybe just adding a comment or maybe asking a question or doing something with engagement on that post and just kind of building from there. I don't think that most people, kind of start out just be like, okay, I have this post that's, top notch quality and I'm just going to throw it out there on LinkedIn right away. It's kind of a building process and you kind of have to kind of add these things on and stack them up as you kind of go and, continually keep improving it. With LinkedIn especially, it is it's a professional networking tool platform. And so the idea is that you're going to interact, you're going to have conversations with people, and that can uncover other connections, that can uncover, as you start adding people and connecting, you start to see other people's posts that are connected to that person or that maybe they interacted with, and then you can start branching it out from there. And it's a really powerful tool when you use it correctly. But if you don't start engaging in a more meaningful way other than just liking posts, and that goes for putting up articles, putting up posts, whatever, like other stuff, videos. But if you're not doing that, then you're not really gonna grow your brand and especially your LinkedIn very much.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a big thing. And that's something I fell into, right? So me, when I was building out, when I was looking for a job as I was retiring out of the army and everything, I didn't really post on LinkedIn. I didn't comment on much on LinkedIn. I reached out personally. I would find someone in an organization that I researched and thought, you know what, this might be a good fit for me. And I'd reach out personally. So for me, it was more of a personal connection. But you don't build yourself that way, right? You're not giving your opinion. You're not giving your thoughts and ideas on how to make things better. You're just liking or celebrating or supporting. I mean, actually, when I first got into LinkedIn, I don't think there was anything but like that you could do on these posts. So,
Yeah.
I did all these, but I started building these more personal connections by just adding people and connecting with them and then talking to them in a private message and just developing that relationship. So, but that is a detriment to myself because nobody knew me. I never made a comment or made my own posts that would, engage others. And I think that's a big thing that I preach today is that engagement, that building who you are and letting people know that you know what you know.
Yeah, it's really based on public engagement and that visibility of that stuff. It's not based on kind of back channel communication where nobody sees what you're saying, nobody sees what you're contributing.
Right. And Eric, what are your thoughts on this, man? Like how have you gone about building cuz you've been around the block. So how have you just gone about building your network and your just who you know and your and everything like that?
When I started out in cybersecurity, we used to stand on rocks and beat our chest, and that's how we communicated with each other. Um, then it became, the cups with the string, and now, I mean, for real, I was top 10 with MySpace guy. So now, when LinkedIn started and we started communicating in those professional platforms, we used to keep this professional life versus personal life. And I think that once you get into the field, and anybody that's in the field right now that is, trying to build their career, make sure that your LinkedIn is very professional. Think of it as your resume. And that is very important. Now, you can show your personality without it becoming a Facebook or a Twitter. You keep it more professional and build your network, because as I tell everybody, your network is everything. The people the people you interact. Don't burn bridges. We all have our good or bad times in our careers, but don't burn bridges. Use your LinkedIn as your, call it your personal calling card of for your career, and it's going to be very important. It's going to be something you're going to carry for the rest of your life in there, and your comments and the things that you say. Just listen, don't let it become another Facebook. Don't be posting there your, and I'm going to say something maybe controversial, but don't post your political things in there. Don't post you know, your personal stuff. I just had a fight with my wife or something like that, and that's not what it's there for. Okay, this is a professional network. We all try to keep it that way. Yes, we celebrate things that happen in our lives, but don't be sharing your Instagram pictures. Okay.
Duck face for the win.
Duck face. Okay. I did that
But
for
you're
Will and
right,
Billy.
right? But you're right, and I think that's a big thing. Is you know everybody knows politics and religion and things like that cause a lot of division. And when you start posting things and make it political, it becomes a problem. And so that is something that you're right is designated. Put that on Facebook, put that on Twitter, put that where that banter, that disagreement, that whatever is meant to be. Um, don't put that on LinkedIn. And again, I'm the same way. I avoid all political and controversial topics on LinkedIn because guess what? That's where I post about cybersecurity. That's where I post about the issues I have in cybersecurity. That is not where I'm going to post my political beliefs. And that's just the way it should be. And here we go. But how are we going to use people's connections for OSINT purposes if they don't post personal stuff? Easy. They give you their full and real name. Just do a quick Google search for their Facebook page and you're good to go. More than likely, it's going to be public anyways because they don't know how to make it private.
Yeah, try a little bit, try a little bit harder.
but yeah, for sure, I do. I avoid all that stuff. But here's the one thing I will say, and it all depends on the person. Now, John, I'd love for you to correct me on this. Now, all of us have not all of us, but there's organizations and huge enterprises that have a social media person that runs their social media, and whether it's Wendy's or any of these big franchises and things of that nature. But then you have your personal brand. Now, for me, I am Cyber Warrior. I am CyberWarriorStudios. That is my brand. That is who I am. Just like Eric is Cyber Papa, and that is his brand. That is who he is. So when I post things, I post them as myself. Yes, it's Cyber Warrior Studios, but
No,
it's
it's
as myself.
the
This is who I am.
John Brand, the Jon Good.
The Jon Good, right?
The
So what do you say for people that are like, whether they're content creators that work in cybersecurity, right? You make a YouTube channel, you develop all this content, and then you post things as yourself. How do you separate that, or do you even choose to separate that? Because me personally, everything I do anymore is just as the Cyber Warrior in Cyber Warrior Studios, or that's it. That's all you get is me.
Yeah, I think that, I like to call it disqualifying engagement. I think that's a good way to term it. But whenever you put up things that you think are going to be controversial, you got to kind of think about who's going to see that. Um, and for me, I mean, I mostly am just posting the cyber related stuff. I've pretty much gotten away from doing a lot of more of the social engagement kind of stuff, and that's just because I I kind of had enough of the social side of it, and just because YouTube and all this stuff takes a lot of time to do, anyways. Um, but yeah, I think you really have to just think about who's gonna see what you're putting stuff up. I remember, I think it was a while ago, but I remember early on with like Facebook and stuff, when it really started becoming mainstream. There was a lot of discussion about like college students putting out pictures of them like going out and drinking, going crazy, and all this stuff. And there being, a lot of talk about you have to go back and clean that up because a lot of this stuff can exist out there even if you don't want it to. It finds its way on other platforms and other places and stuff, and you just really have to be careful. And especially people that are just getting out of like college or high school or whatever school, um, they don't really know what it's like to not have like the internet and all these social media platforms and everything. They kind of just came up with it, so they've been using it for everything in their life. And I think those are the people that you really have to be careful, because you don't always necessarily have that discretion or know how to kind of separate the professional world versus your personal world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And that's something
and
even when I was in the army, me and my wife had these conversations because even though I've helped her lock down her Facebook to be completely private, it came down to things like OPSEC, where you do not say when I'm gone. You do not say where I'm at. You don't say when I'm coming back. You don't say any of these things. Like when I get home, you want to post a welcome home picture? That's great. Go ahead. But otherwise, you don't know whose accounts have been compromised. You don't know who's all on your Facebook. And maybe you slip up and make something public that should have been private. It's so hard. So even for things like that, we don't know who sees everything. And so I'm very cognizant of that. And a lot of what I've done has been professional. And I think people forget that. People lose themselves in social media and think, I could post whatever I want. Nobody cares. And then all of a sudden you're going for a job interview and I do a quick Google search and I'm like, wait, hold up. You did this, this, and
And
this.
that was the point that I was going to bring in is, right now when you get a job offer or something like that and they do your background, they are looking at publicly accessible information. So if your Twitter, your whatever social media you have out there, you will get, you know, judge, if you will. And I've even heard of people that have gotten their offers rescinded because of what they were posting, because they were a risk. If you're going to be doing something with the government and you need a clearance, they will review that. They will review those things. So make sure, and like Patrick says right here, practice good decision making skills, keep it professional, and always think that somebody's watching yourself. So Patrick, good call there.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And it's something that I do a lot. Again, I am my wife. Or I am my wife. Wow, I really just said that.
Wow, hello.
Wow.
Woo.
I
Clarify
am
that
my
a little
brand.
We
bit.
I am
learned
my
so
brand.
much about you on Security
Wow.
Happy Hour.
God.
Okay,
I
Mrs.
am my brand.
Doubtfire.
You wear two
This is
rings. One-
like
Mrs.
Cyber Warrior
Doubtfire.
Studios is me. So everything I post, I make sure is cybersecurity ads or whatever, right? It's related to the information I'm putting out. I other than Facebook, which even then, the public posts you see on Facebook, 9 times out of 10, unless I make the mistake, are ads for Cyber Warrior Studios, our videos, our posts about what I'm doing. So unless you're connected with me, which Eric so happens to be, so he gets to see all the nitty gritty of what I really post. You don't get to see all that. But here comes the flip side to it. Because of all the privacy changes and that brand you're trying to build, Facebook in its inception was private. Then it became public and it became public domain. At its inception, right? Everything was you could, only people connected to you could see what you did. I love you, Jermaine. So when you see that, and now all of a sudden, all your posts that you made that were private are now public. Because even if you change your privacy settings, good luck trying to change all 1 million posts that you've made in the past 10 years private. So even things you posted back when it first started are out there for the world to see.
And
And
Yeah.
and and
trying to,
the
trying to
Wayback
change
Machine
the
is a
Wayback
miraculous
Machine.
thing. Yep.
But
Yeah.
here's a different point. Okay, so we're content creators. All three of us are content creators. Okay, I've got Raíces Cyber as a organization, so I post a lot about Raíces. I post a lot about the channel, cybersecurity, but I do, part of me is I post and comment on things other than cyber. I have a life and I have a personality. So I use that as well. And yeah, sometimes there's something like, the thing that just happened in Texas in Uvalde. Today it found, they did the whole timeline thing, and cops didn't even get in there until 80 minutes after the shooting started. I commented on that. So that's slightly political, slightly, of what happened. And I talk about that, or I talk about the Ukraine war or something like that. It's still kind of related to security and physical security and the war. And for me, new battlefields, that's part of my brand. But I do take it a little bit further than just, yeah, just a little more. So what I also tell people is, yes, don't be a robot. Don't just post about things. You have a life, you have a personality. That also is something that shines through in your LinkedIn, your Twitter, and your personal brand. So there's a fine line. And like Patrick said, you know, just use your common sense and what is something that's gonna not come to bite you later on.
Yeah, and I think too, it's especially sensitive around extreme opinions on certain topics, because there's certain topics that are huge hot buttons, where if you just go in there and you start just blasting away on your opinion, that's where it starts
Yeah.
kind of causing issues. But yeah, you should definitely let your personality shine through. And really, I mean, for me, it kind of goes back to the whole story about your career, about your brand. What do you want people to see as far as who you are?
Yeah, definitely. And I said something about this. I think it was last week or the week before. I was going through a lot, and for me, a lot of what I do comes down to motivation and mental health. It is very important to me. And even I broke. Right, I had a day. I put, shut up. I put I put a video out, and on TikTok and Twitter and all this other stuff, where I was broken. I was spent. I had my limit. And so I think a big part of that is, it's okay to not be okay. And so when you're building that brand and building who you are and showing who you really are, anybody who has followed me for long enough knows that a lot of what I've been doing is videos. I don't do very much engagement in, I'm going to get involved in this conversation. I'm going to inject myself in a conversation that I may know very little about. But what I will do is I will put out videos to motivate you. I will put out videos to show you the real me. And and I think that's very important, right? Is knowing who you really are. And I put one out, not, I don't know, an hour before the show, about Memorial Day weekend. And a lot of people don't understand the concept behind that. So that was my premise for, hey, don't thank me or any other veteran for our service. That's not what this weekend is about. That's not who we are. It's about those that we have lost. So for me, it's about, I'm going to build a brand about around motivating others, but by doing that, I'm going to show when maybe I need motivated, when maybe I need help, because we all need help, and not everybody's perfect, and not everybody's always in the right mind. And so it's building that community that'll build you up, and when you're down and out, will lift you up. And that's my brand. That's who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the more that you really start to post and put out there, that really, all of that starts to kind of evolve and tell the story of who you are. When you put out, one post, one video, something like that, it doesn't really come through. But the longer you do it, the more that comes through with what you put out and what you say, and all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Are you all three veterans? I am. Eric is.
I am
John.
not. I am not.
Ah, so close. So
2 out of 3.
close. 2 out of 3. We're almost there. But yeah, a lot of that comes down to, you know, and again, your personal brand, how you deal with burnout, how you deal with societal issues, how you deal with all these things. And part of that comes down to me from what I'm saying. So Jermaine has here. I am actually burnt out from social media. I want to post something,
Yeah.
but I'm actually just tired of all the negative news. And I get that, because here's the thing.
We talked about that.
With social media, you're going to see so much negativity. You are. I look, I have a TikTok account and that I post on at least once a
No, he
day.
does. He goes,
I see the
Let me see, where is
negativity.
it?
Oh, it's there, CyberWarriorStudios. You'll find it. So I see it all. And I see it everywhere, because unlike some people, Eric, I am everywhere. Legitimately everywhere. You can't go to a mainstream social media platform and not find me. But I see the negativity.
and we find
I
about
avoid it.
3 or 4 more people that are in, Cyber Warrior Studios.
Yeah, right, right. They're claiming to be me. So I don't post on anything about hot button topics or negative topics, because I'm not going to give an opinion on something that's going to cause an argument. I stay out of arguments. I will speak to my wife. I will speak to Eric. I will speak to my friends that I know and trust about any hot button topics. But I will not speak to the public. And yes, KevTech IT support, I am everywhere with beer. Most of my videos contain beer,
Yeah,
except for Mondays and Tuesdays.
before he gets and starts messing fun with you, this is what he said earlier.
Well, because he is late. He's supposed to drink with me. He's my virtual drinking buddy. All right. But yeah, I'm everywhere. Jon, you're on YouTube, right? You're on Twitter. You're on LinkedIn. Are those the only 3 platforms, or do you have more?
Let's see. LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, I guess technically kind of counts in there. I have Facebook, but it's all personal. But actually, no, I do have a Facebook page. Um, let's see. And then I think that's pretty much it. I don't have TikTok, at least for a cyber one. Um, and yeah, I think that's it. I mean, it's interesting because just kind of going back to the whole like trolling thing, typically a lot of, at least from what I found, is that the more anonymous the platform, the more the trolls like to come out.
I have
Yeah.
very rarely in my content, with the exception of one episode of Security Happy Hour, I very rarely find trolls so far. Then again, I'm not that big. I've only got 2,500 subscribers, so I don't have many trolls. TikTok, I don't
But
have that many
YouTube,
followers except bots, so it is what it
YouTube,
is.
YouTube moderation is pretty good. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, they're
they'll
getting
come.
better too. They just added in some more features, so they're getting a hell of a lot better.
No, we had a one show about 2 months ago that literally you saw me like during the show. He kept on talking, and I just went like this and was on the computer knocking down trolls for probably about half an hour. Even with all of the moderation, I was like, ban hammer, ban hammer, ban hammer.
And I don't even know where they came from. I really don't know where this dude came from, because we had never had it. I was a mod on one of his shows trying to help out, and we didn't have to worry about it. There were no issues.
Yeah.
Yet this one episode, it was so bad. He just kept coming, or she, or whomever.
They
They just
rated you.
kept coming.
They kept on saying they wanted your body, but
I don't know why. I don't know why. But no, it was bad. So yeah, it's one of those things. When I build my brand, it's about positivity, right? It's about lifting people up. I don't necessarily build a cybersecurity brand. Haha, I own this channel and I don't build a cybersecurity brand. What do you know? No, it's all about, helping others get into the field.
yeah.
Helping others see how they can get into the field. And Eric is all about news. Well, was. I'm waiting for him to get back to news. but Eric does a lot of good for what he does. Jon, your channel is top notch. So, what would you say to anybody who wants to build a brand? What would be the best way that they can do it beyond just commenting on posts on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, so as far as your brand, it's when I think about it, it's everything that you're doing. So, obviously, there's a lot of different options that you can do. You can go speak at conferences. You can do the LinkedIn stuff. You can make YouTube videos. Twitter is pretty big. I think Twitter would be hard to do probably just on its own. But there's a lot of different options that you can do, and part of building that brand is really figuring out what you enjoy doing and kind of what you see your brand evolving to. Because if you like making videos, I think a lot of people, especially initially, it's kind of weird to talk into a camera. um, but and some people aren't comfortable doing it either too. But it is a nice thing where you can record the videos and then edit them, and you'll feel more comfortable. But some people don't like doing that. Some people would rather write or go present at a conference, because then they get to interact with people. So it's really just trying to figure out what you enjoy first and what you're trying to put out there, and then kind of building a strategy around that. Because I think that a lot of the platforms work pretty well together, just because, like YouTube, put up a YouTube video, then you can put on something on LinkedIn to complement that, or link back to the video, or put a post on LinkedIn with a little short video that you put on there, or no video. Create a blog and just create tutorials and things like that.
Well,
There,
we have a friend, a common friend of us, Devin, DJX Alpha, who started his whole thing by writing a blog. And his whole, I'll call it little empire, is all was born out of this blog. And he's got a wonderful story about how he started writing that for himself, so that he can keep kind of public notes. And now he's running his own YouTube channel. He works with Hacker Valley Media, great organization. And it everybody has a different path. Everybody has a different way of breaking in. We have a good friend, Vanessa, who Neshacks has a wonderful, wonderful podcast every week, very motivational. So check that out if you're Neshacks podcast. So yeah, again, everybody has a different path. So if there's somebody starting out right now, what's the first thing you say to that person to, how do they break into call the personal content creation?
yeah, I would say the first thing is look at your soft skills, because everything for the content creation and everything is built around some kind of soft skill. So writing or speaking, or one of those things. So look at what you're strong at, or what you enjoy, and then start thinking about it from that perspective, and then start thinking about the kind of content that you want to put out there. There's no question that there's certain content that is better in one form or the other. And it doesn't matter if you're, from a career standpoint, it doesn't matter necessarily if it's a video or if it's writing or speaking, because all of those transfer over. I mean, the more that you get, the better, for sure. But so I would say start out just thinking about what your strengths are, and then which one you want to do, and then really just start going at it. Just start trying to create a post or create a video about some topic. Do the best you can. Quite frankly, your first one is probably not going to be that great, and you're going to look at it 2 years down the road and be like, "This is garbage." But that you'll get better over time, especially the more that you do it, because it is a skill. And even if you're like the best video editor or content writer or something, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to learn how to make it for your audience and what they enjoy, what they connect with, what they engage with. If you're making videos, if you get 1 million views on a video, probably should make some more content about that video. And you'll just kind of evolve as you go.
Well, my
Yeah.
favorite story about that is MKBHD, Marcus Brownlee, one of the biggest YouTubers out there. If you watch his first video, he was like 14 years old with a laptop, and it was crap. It was completely crap. And he just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. And now he's, millions and millions of subscribers, and he talks about that. So you got to get started, do your thing. If it's writing blogs, if it's writing posts, it's Instagram stories or TikToks or YouTube, just get started. Just get started. You're gonna get better by repetition. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I would say too, don't when you're first starting out, don't try to do it all. Just start with, let's say, one, and then kind of see how you like it. If you want to expand from there, because one of the problems, especially on YouTube, is that burnout, especially for content creation, is real, because there are a decent amount of people that will get to maybe like 1,000 subscribers or so, and then kind of burn out, because that process can take a while just to get to that point. And if you're trying to just do everything, it will you'll kind of implode.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things I will say, you can go all the way back to the very first episode of Security Happy Hour. This is something I started back in 2020. And at that time, I built 5 episodes. So there were 5 different shows a week on my channel. And it was something that I was like, oh, I can do this. I can keep up with it. I can, the more I do, the bigger it'll get. And it took me a little while, but I realized I can't keep this pace. I can't work a full-time job and put out 5 different types of shows. It's just not possible. Not for me anyways. But I have a wife and 5 kids. If you're single and live alone, I don't know, maybe you can do it. But for me, it just was not possible. So if you even look at the very first Security Happy Hour episode, oh, is it rough? Oh, it's so rough. And things take time, as Kev Tech says, and it takes patience. I've been going at this now for 2 years, and I'm only just now, as of, I think yesterday, I hit 2,500 subscribers.
well,
And we live in a different field.
And young man right here, Keftech, is currently at 32,000.9K subscriber. We got to get him to 33. But 33,000 subscribers. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's dancing in his show or something.
But here's the big thing, and here's what people need to understand, is it depends on the content you're providing. By doing what we do in cybersecurity, we have a niche audience. So not only is it going to take longer to grow, you're not going to grow as big as reaction channels, as comedy channels, as news channels. It's just not going to happen. I'd love to be able to sit here and say I'm going to hit 1 million subscribers one day. I honestly don't think it'll ever happen, because it's a niche audience. Because we are so small of a career field that I don't see it ever happening. But that's okay for me. I don't mind the slow growth. Sometimes it bugs me. I ain't gonna lie. Eric knows that. Me and him have had our conversations. But I build a brand around. That is why I am here for printer bashing. Kevin hates printers. Hey, look. Hey, find Kevin's P.O. box and send him a printer. He will love you forever.
But like a big one, like the...
Yes. Yes. Send him a printer. Just like buy it and mail it to him. He'll be all right. But I think we forget that. We forget that, when you're starting out, we are a small niche audience. And unfortunately, and it is very unfortunate, those in our career field escape our career field, right? They want to view videos that aren't related to their career, which is unfortunate for us because someone like me likes to motivate everybody, whether or not you're in this field, as well as do a show like this to help people get into this field. But if you're trying to escape it, why are you going to watch? So I have these issues, and they're personal issues, and I love what I do. But I have to realize it's going to be a slow growth. It's going to take time for everybody to see what we can do and what we're able to accomplish. And so I think that eventually we'll get there, but it's all on how you build it.
Yeah, and I mean, for everybody out there, don't think that like 1,000 subscribers is an easy feat to get to, because you know you can go several videos without even getting like 100 views when you're first starting out, and it's kind of demoralizing, especially because a lot of your early videos you put quite a bit of time into, even if they're not that great, just because you're trying to figure out kind of your workflow. Um, but it is worth it, especially the more you do it. And kind of like what you said too, where it's a small career field, which from that standpoint, it kind of a small audience, but it works in your favor because that means that if anybody that's in cybersecurity or IT security, if they go and they look up videos, you're probably going to run into somebody that you'll run across at some point again, or be a hiring manager or whatever. And so it kind of works both ways, but it just kind of depends on how you're looking at it, how you're viewing it, and what your objective with it is.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the big thing for a lot of people that they need to understand is that when you're doing any type of content creation to build your personal brand, if I can't see you, it's not you. Sorry.
Say that again. Say
if
that
I
again.
can't see you, it's not you.
Are you making fun of my height? Okay,
It means turn on a damn camera, Eric. But so many people are afraid to show their face. They want to be anonymous. They want to hide who they are. I get it. Some people love to just type notes on Notepad as they're doing videos, and especially technical videos. But understand, if I can't see you, if I can't see who you are, when I go through an interview process, how can I compare how you speak to me and who you are to the content you put out? Because you could put out anybody's videos at that point. How do I know it's you?
That's right.
Audio sampling.
Nice.
Half of them, look, half of the videos out there right now, and this is why I love the way I do videos. This is why I love it. Because A, you see me, B, you hear me, and C, you get to see all the mistakes that I make. Every single one of them.
Thank you for watching my video.
I pull up Google and everything for my videos. So, when I see these videos, half of them don't talk at all. They play background music and pull up Notepad or Terminal and start typing in there. And this is how you do this. Are you going to talk to me, or am I just wondering who the fuck I'm dealing with right now? I ignore them. Those are the videos I skip. Like when everybody talks about the videos they don't watch, those are the ones that I'm like, nope, give me somebody else. Because I need to know that the person is real and that I'm getting factual information about how things are done. And I need personality. I need to know who you are. But that's just me.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things that motivated me when I originally started was, a lot of the, especially several years ago, because I've been doing this for about 3 years now, a ton of the videos were like that. I think it's gotten better because we've gotten more content creators. But yeah, it's like some house music on in the background, and you have this like gaudy screen and you're like, notepad. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, okay, but it's definitely it's definitely next level as far as your commitment to it when you turn on the camera and you're like, hey, this is
This
me.
is
Um, and I think, especially in the tech field and cybersecurity, all these kind of jobs, uh, it definitely attracts a certain personality where, it tends to be on the more introverted side. And people don't like that interaction necessarily. And I get it. But, you know, in any of these jobs, you do deal with people. So it's gonna help you. So you should do it.
I'm very shy. I'm very, very shy.
Liar. But no, you're right, and that's been one of the big things, and one of the reasons I spawned this show was because I know a lot of us are introverts. I know a lot of us don't want to deal with people. You don't want to get on a stage and talk to a million people and see them in front of you, and then you're like, oh crap, what do I do? Like, how do I give this speech that I said I was going to get? So for me, it is very much, look, you can come here, be relaxed, and not give a damn. You can say whatever you want. I don't have a filter. I don't ask people to have a filter. I don't give a damn what the hell you say. And so for me, it is one of those things where I try to bring people out of their shell because I know how hard it is. I have a son that's an introvert. I've been around people. I grew up with people that were introverts. Hell, I used to be one. To this day, I still say I hate people. But the reality it is, I love being around people, which is kind of weird. I hate people, but love being around them. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm confusing, but it's why I did this show is because I want people to come out of their shell and be able to be themselves and provide that knowledge that they can give. So I truly hope that that's what this provides to others.
That's good. That's very good. So John, we're getting to the top of the hour here. We like to ask everybody, last thoughts for you about building that personal brand, and what is it that you would tell our audience when building that personal brand? What is it that is kind of the most important? So take it away, my friend.
Yeah. So um, one thing that I'll definitely say is, and kind of from a career standpoint, you want to stay motivated with all the stuff that you're doing and and stay humble about it too, because as you start engaging and doing all this stuff in social media or whichever platforms, um, as you start to learn things, you don't want to fall into the habit of kind of being the person that knows everything. Especially as you start to engage with people, the more that you can relate to people and engage meaningfully and learn from each other and just be humble about it, the better. That will go a long way in your career, especially as you start to grow your audience, grow your connections, your following, and it does definitely help to to build your personal brand. uh, you will find that as you grow and you start to apply to jobs and look to move on, that the hiring managers and leaders, they will see your videos, and it's certainly going to happen, especially as you get larger audiences. And you want to build something that is going to accelerate and progress your career, not hold you back.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
definitely. Eric, here, let's move you over. What up? Wait, where'd you go? Hey, there you are. All right.
Because I moved my over and then you moved me over. And it's okay.
Eric, give us some final words, brother. Hit me.
All right. Well, as you all know, Raices is on a upswing. We just opened 9 new local chapters in Philadelphia, Tucson, California, Chicago, Denver, and I'm missing a couple more, but you can go check them out and raicescyber.org, all local chapters. So tomorrow we start our summer cyber education series. So come join the Discord. I'm going to put the Discord link here on the chat. Come join us at 2 o'clock tomorrow Eastern Standard Time. Every Saturday at 2 o'clock, we'll have a new expert talking in our Discord about a different discipline. Next week, we have Gerald Auger that is going to be coming and doing day in the life of a GRC. So in tomorrow we have Abram Salem talking about leadership. So it's going to be a wonderful summer packed information, and I think Mr. Jon Good is going to be doing one talk a little bit later in June. So we're going to have a lot of people coming in and doing different talks about different topics. So come join us in our Discord. Come join us in Raices. We're going to be going to DEF CON. We're going to be doing Women's Cyber Jitsu in June. There's going to be a lot of new things coming out for Raices. And Raices Live and new battlefields will be coming back live starting next week. So stay tuned for that. All right, and back to you, Mr. Cyber Warrior.
Yeah, definitely. Look, hey, Eric, I'm happy to hear that everybody's coming back, that your shows are coming back. I will say that unfortunately you're going to wrangle me in to some teachings. I don't know why. God damn it. Why me? But anyways, KevTech is doing one for Raices on IT support. So please, if you're not in Raices Cyber, if you're not on the Discord, please join us. I will say this. Look, Jon, once again, it's been amazing having you here. It has been amazing to talk to you about building your personal brand and how important that can be and that is to your career. And honestly, I just want to put this out there. This show in particular is for any career field. Any career field. The advice given here can be used going forward to any career. And it's all about building your personal brand and who you are as a person and what you can give to an organization. Excuse me. Now, saying that, I want to put this out there. You can get any amazing Cyber Warrior Studios merchandise, CyberWarriorStudios.com. You can find this shirt on Securities or SecurityStar.com, rather. So make sure you check it out. And as always, this has been an amazing episode. I love you all. Look, all my Cyber Warriors, all my warriors out there, all those that follow me, follow Eric, follow Jon, please tune in every week because we love you all. And I can't wait till next week. I got a great show planned. I'm not going to let you know what it is till next week. But
don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
This is true. Like, comment, subscribe. Please, please do that. And without further ado, I'm going to let you all go. Enjoy your weekend. It is Memorial Day weekend. Please, I beg of you, remember what this weekend is for. It's not for us. It's for those that have fallen. And I'll catch you all next time.